Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And Megan, today we are holding a nitro shoe.
Yeah, a Puma shoe called the MagMax.
Just from the stats, I know you're gonna love this shoe. You love the cush. This thing has the stack.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw it, I knew this was gonna be one of my favorite shoes from Puma. I didn't realize how much I was gonna love it. So spoiler alert, I really love it, but
you can't do that, as you would say.
It's a really, really fun shoe. So let's go ahead and dive into the upper.
I really like the upper. As a matter of fact, you said it reminded you of a different brand's upper. We won't mention whose it was, but it has a very nice engineered mesh upper. It's got that tongue that you love.
These knit tongues, these people are finally listening. This is an amazing knit tongue. It's gusseted, it's stretchy. You can easily pull it up and on. They nailed it.
Yeah, and simple lacing, no big deal here. What I do like is when they shape the throat this way, I don't get a pucker in the top of the shoe, because normally with a narrow foot, when you cinch in the laces, you get that like crease. The way that they do this with that little dimple kind of mitigates that.
Yeah, and then of course, Puma reinforces some structure with their power tape that they call it, just some nice overlays. And I mean, aesthetically, I think it looks nice.
Yeah, basic heel counter as well. Runs true to size, no hot spots, feels great, easy to lace up and get the right fit, especially when you have this much chunk underneath your foot.
Yeah, so it looks wider than it actually fits, I think, because this, like, the foam just expands every which way on this shoe, and so it looks wider, but actually the foot and the way it sits in here, it's not overly wide. It was fine for my wider foot, but for your narrow foot, it fit well.
Yeah, if you actually look at it on the platform, the upper is a pretty standard looking upper as far as width and everything like that, so it's not necessarily going to be great for people who need that extra wide fit, because it's really a standard shoe fit, close to like the DV8 Nitro 3, just stuck on top of a higher platform.
Underneath the foot here, you have a ton of this nitro foam. So this is very bouncy foam, very responsive. It's fairly light, and okay, we can talk about that later, but it's not only high in stack, so it's 46 in the heel, 38 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop, but it's also, as we were just talking about, super wide. So there's just a lot of foam underfoot.
And it does feel stable. So for me, the ride and the foam kind of gives the Super Blast vibe. So it feels underfoot similar to the way a Super Blast feels. Difference is, you said light. This is actually not very light at all. This is 11.45 ounces or 324 grams for my size 10.5.
Yeah, so my women's 7.5 was 8.8 ounces or 250 grams. So, I mean, no, it's not super light, but for a daily trainer with this much cushioning, I mean, I think that's fair.
Here's what I think it does. And I was trying to think about this, because normally once a shoe gets up to those kind of like 10.5, 11, it starts to feel slow and sluggish on my foot. And this shoe doesn't. It feels like it rolls through. And I think that's because this nitro foam really does give you some energy return and gives you a little bit of bounce off that step, so it doesn't feel dead. So you're getting that sink-in feeling, and then boom, off the toe. And they did a nice job with the geometry of the sole to give you that really nice roll, and the toe spring feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think these shoes just feel so great out on the run. Like Thomas was saying, you do have that nice bounce from this foam, and while it is a max cushion trainer, it's not that squishy, soft max cushion trainer. It's more of that performance-oriented trainer where you can go out and do a long run and you can pick up the pace in this shoe. And I think it works for everything. I think this is a shoe that if you're just getting into running, it works for. If you are recovering from a long run or a workout, it's great for. Like, it's a great shoe.
You said everything. You were really enthusiastic about that. Didn't want to interrupt you. For me, this has one purpose. This is a mileage gobbler. This is your daily, trainer that you're going to use to just kind of do your easy pace, your zone 1-2 runs. It's also going to be that shoe that maybe you did your long run on Saturday and you've got 6 more miles or 8 more miles on Sunday, and you want a shoe that's going to be gentle on you and kind to your body. This is that shoe. For me, though, I'm not picking up the pace in this. I'm not trying to do any speed work. Definitely wouldn't recommend it for a 5K or anything. Where you're
No,
trying
not
to get the
for
turnover.
racing, but you can pick up the pace in the shoe. Like, this foam is responsive and it's fun to run in.
You can pick up the pace. You're going to work for it, but you can pick up the pace. Now, obviously, one of the things that we always give high marks is the outsole on the Puma shoes.
Puma grip.
You got the Puma grip. I don't know what's in this stuff, but man,
It's the top of the line.
yeah, it does the job. So overall for me, this is a really fun shoe to run in. I would definitely add it to a rotation. It wouldn't be my only shoe unless I'm just concerned with, like, I just want to go out and jog and I'm not really concerned with, like, trying to improve my performance or get faster or get ready for a race. Then this shoe could be your only shoe. But if you're trying to do the other things where you're trying to incorporate some more speed work and stuff like that, this would be one of the shoes in a rotation. And then, Megan, I forgot to tell you, there's a secret hidden underneath here.
So the pull tab in the back does say Bouncy AF, which is a nice little touch.
What do you think the AF stands for?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, leave your comments on what you think the AF stands for.
Okay, so you like the shoe, I like the shoe. I think we're both giving it a green light.
I think we're giving a green light, but guess what? We're going to be implementing a new
System.
way to kind of grade the shoes so it's more clear to people rather than just a green, yellow, and red. We're going to be adding 5 points for the upper fit and feel, 5 points for the midsole, and 5 points for overall the shoe. So, and this might get tweaked a little bit as we're working through it, but right now, so I would give this upper. This is a solid 4 for me on the upper. The midsole, for what it's intended to do, cushioned ride, feeling great, really protecting those legs and giving you a fun, bouncy ride. I'd give it a 4 on the midsole. And then the outsole definitely gets a 5 with the Puma grip. Overall, that will rank this shoe if we're doing kind of that out of 15.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
13 out of 15.
Yeah, 13 out of 15. So this is definitely a shoe that I would recommend, and I have been when people have been asking questions.
Yeah, so I also agree with you in terms of the new rating system we're doing here. I think you said 13 out of 15, so 4, 4, and 5. Maybe I would give 4.5. Are we allowed to do that?
No, that ruins
Okay.
it, because then we start getting into these fractions.
Okay,
That's the whole
okay,
thing.
so 4, 4, and 5, 13 out of 15.
At a price point of 180 though, do I spend the extra $20 and go up to the Super Blast?
I think that comes down to personal preference at this point. I know you said that you wouldn't use this shoe for anything other than those recovery zone 1, zone 2 runs, but I would use this shoe for the long runs, for picking up the pace a little bit. So in that case, it does fall more into that Super Blast category for me, where it is pretty versatile. But again, this one's almost 2 ounces heavier, I think, than the Super Blast. So there is that differentiator. Of all the Puma shoes I've worn ever, this is my favorite one.
I can see that, because it is fun. And it just feels right. Like everything comes together really nicely in this shoe. Might still give the edge to the DV8 Nitro 3 over this, but they're both right there for fun shoes. Puma's really kind of knocking it out of the park this year between the DV8 Nitro Elite 3 and the DV8 Nitro 3 and this shoe. You really have some nice choices right there. That's your racing, your daily training for up-tempo daily training, maybe getting into those higher zones, and then this one for recovery and stuff. I think that's a really sweet lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to complain about this shoe. I've been wearing it for pretty much every run outside of workouts when I'm not reviewing a shoe, and it's going to stay in my rotation for sure. So yeah, I mean, I love it.
So, you know what? If you enjoyed this review, we'd love it if you gave us a like. We already hit 100,000 subscribers, so we're pretty happy about that. But if you want to be one of the people subscribing, go ahead and do that. Best way to stay in touch with us, though, is go to our website, believeintherun.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter where you'll get all the information about the shoes we're reviewing, the podcasts we're putting out, any special events that we're doing. It's all there, so go take a look and do that.
Yeah, we also have 2 podcasts, The Drop and Fuel for the Soul with Megan Featherston. And yeah, the best way to see these shoes and the latest shoes is find us on Instagram.